Are you listening?
Welcome to another episode of the Nerf Report. My name is Brian Chappelle, and on this week's episode, Kojima blames first-person shooters for poor Death Stranding reviews, Star Wars joins Fortnite, we get an updated look at Universal Studios' Super Nintendo World, and with X019 concluding, we have a lot to talk about, including xCloud updates, new video games, and how Xbox Gamepass is slowly taking over the world. But before we talk about any of that, your top headlines. First up this week, let's talk about Death Stranding. Hideo Kojima's latest game has finally been released, and while it is no PT, the game has been generating some very interesting reviews. Death Stranding has currently received a 70 from Game Informer, a 40 from Giant Bomb, a 68 from IGN, and a 90 from GameSpot. But interestingly enough, non-American publications have been rating Death Stranding more favorably. For example, IGN Japan rated the game a 95, while the Japanese outlet Famitsu gave the game a perfect 40 out of 40. And luckily for us, the Italian outlet TGCom24 asked Kojima why he thought that the game was receiving such mixed reviews. And Kojima told the outlet, "I must say that the game has received some enthusiastic reviews, above all in Europe and Japan. Here in the US, instead, we've had stronger criticisms. Perhaps it's a game that's difficult to understand for a certain type of critic and some of the public. Americans are some of the biggest first-person shooter fans, and Death Stranding isn't one." You know, in my opinion, Death Stranding is quickly becoming the vinyl records of gaming. Like so many people this week told me, "You don't get it, man? Kojima isn't trying to make a video game. Like, you don't play Death Stranding, you feel it."
Clapton, Dylan, Kojima, man.
Also this week, Fortnite. The world's most popular video game is showing no signs of slowing down, as this week the game announced a new partnership that we can only assume was established in a galaxy far, far away. This week, Fortnite revealed that in honor of the release of Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order, Imperial Stormtroopers are officially coming to Fortnite. These Stormtrooper skins will be available for free to anyone who purchases Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order through the Epic Games Store. Anthem was in the news this week, which is cool because for months I've been poking it with a stick, hoping that it would show some sign of life, and this week, Anthem sprung full of life, stating,
"Bring out your dead." Here's one. Ninepence.
I'm not dead.
What?
Nothing. Here's your ninepence. I'm not dead.
Here. He says he's not dead.
Now, according to Kotaku's Jason Schreier, EA and BioWare are hard at work to launch Anthem 2.0 or Anthem Next, an overhaul of the online shooter. According to Schreier, many of the details are still in flux, and there's no clear timeline for Anthem Next project just yet. They're still figuring out whether updates should be released all at once or over an extended period of time. Anthem could be overhauled through a series of updates a la No Man's Sky, or it could get a game-changing expansion like Destiny's critically acclaimed Taken King. And finally, for our top headlines, Universal Studios is currently hard at work with Super Nintendo World, and recently new concept art for the theme park released. Now, the concept art, of course, is for the Japanese version of Super Nintendo World, but we do get a better look at Bowser's Castle, the Yoshi Ride, and what looks to be the Toadstool Cafe. And with Nintendo World Japan opening in 2020, I thought it was the perfect time to start pitching some rides for the American Super Nintendo World, like the So Long Swing Bowser ride. Get in your Bowser carts and have Mario swing you into hours of fun. Or what about the Super Mario Roller Coaster Maker? Why spend money on research and development to make a roller coaster when we can let the riders do it themselves? And in case you're hungry, why not swing by the Koopa Corner to pick up some turtle soup?
Now for something completely different. Yeah.
X019. This week, Xbox and their most loyal members of Team Green took over London for a brand new episode of Inside Xbox. So, without further ado, let's brew a spot of tea, dive deep inside of Xbox for the Nerf Report's X019 coverage, governor! Now, Microsoft was heading into this week's episode of Inside Xbox full steam, with promises of massive news surrounding Project xCloud, 3 brand new games, 11 games currently under development, and over 20 games getting added to Xbox Gamepass by the end of 2019. Now, if you've been paying attention, you know that Stadia, Google's cloud-based streaming service, launches next week. And I'm not saying that it was intentional for Xbox to talk about xCloud days before the competitor launches their service, but Phil Spencer, on the other hand...
We're building this hand in hand with you. The reason we're in preview is because this technology is something that we're working on. We're not trying to claim that we're getting rid of the devices that you already own. This is about us building a service with our community to allow them to take their Xbox experience to the devices with them on the go.
Now, Microsoft didn't stop there with xCloud announcements. In fact, Xbox revealed that over 50 games are currently available in xCloud Preview, which is currently only available in the United States, United Kingdom, and Korea on tablets and smartphones. However, in 2020, the service will be extended to Windows 10 devices, along with the preview program being expanded to Canada, Japan, and India. Microsoft also revealed that xCloud will work with Xbox controllers, and it will offer functionality with any Bluetooth controller, including PlayStation's DualShock 4. But perhaps the biggest xCloud reveal was that by the end of 2020, any game that you own will work with xCloud, along with xCloud functionalities being added to the full Xbox Gamepass library. And speaking of Game Pass, Microsoft also announced some pretty massive games getting added to the service. By the end of 2019, games like Rage 2, Lego Ninjago Movie, Remnant, Talos Principle, Age of Empires 2, The Witcher 3, Darksiders 3, Halo Reach, My Friend Pedro, Life is Strange 2, the Yakuza series, and a total of 9 Final Fantasy games. Now, Xbox Game Pass is a fantastic service that is easily the cornerstone of the platform. But this week's Inside Xbox also introduced some incredible exclusive new games from studios like Rare, Ninja Theory, and Obsidian. In fact, Rare introduced a brand new IP called Everwild, which was being described as a natural and magical world that will give you memorable, engaging, and meaningful experiences. Obsidian, on the other hand, hot off the heels of Outer Worlds, introduced their next game for Xbox called Grounded, which takes the player and shrinks them down to the size of an ant. And honestly, this survival game looks genuinely awesome, and it will be entering the Xbox preview program in the spring of 2020. And finally, Ninja Theory gave us an update on their upcoming Xbox exclusive, the 4v4 fighting game Bleeding Edge, which will be releasing on March 24th of 2020. Now, as far as non-exclusives go, Microsoft also introduced plenty of new games as well. Games like West of Dead featuring Ron Perlman, which you sold me on Ron Perlman. The PC game Rust is finally coming to consoles. The mobile game Kart Rider is coming to PC and Xbox. Planet Coaster is getting a console edition, and Wasteland 3 received a brand new trailer at this year's X019. And overall, X019 was a great showcase for Xbox fans. Personally, I love how Microsoft creates these FOMO moments where you almost feel like you're missing out by not being there. And I think that both Sony and Nintendo have a lot that they could learn from events like these. And with the next generation consoles like Project Scarlet launching at the end of next year, Microsoft is doing a great job of laying out the foundation for the ultimate gaming platform. Because as amazing as this press conference was, the Xbox One is still number 2. And many of the announcements that they are making are still to try to catch up to PlayStation. And in reality, events like X019, they leave me less interested in Xbox, and they have me more interested in what Sony is going to do to respond. And finally, for this week, we come to that noise, of course, signifies that we are running out of time and coming close to the end of the show. So, in order to cover all the week's remaining news, we must initiate a segment that I like to call Every single week, we have so much news to talk about and so little time to do it. So we take all the week's remaining news, put 60 seconds on the clock, and try to cover it as fast as humanly possible without running out of breath, passing out, or dying! So, with that in mind, let's put 60 seconds on the clock. And go. Mark Wahlberg is joining the Uncharted movie, but not as Nathan Drake Sully. And I'm just going to leave that one there. Insomniac introduced a brand new VR game this week called Stormland. Bethesda opened up a brand new studio this week called Roundhouse Studio. Best gaming name ever. Super jealous of that. Somebody made Wipeout the game in dreams. Pokemon Go's December community event will feature Chimchar. We finally got our first look at the Sonic upgrade, which, bravo, it looks really good. Death Stranding is officially the second biggest PlayStation 4 game to launch in 2019. FaZe Ewok is joining Mixer, which I'm told that means something. WWF WrestleFest is getting a sequel with Retromania. Can't wait to check that out. An achievement for Resident Evil 2 hints that we might be getting DLC for that game. That's super cool. And finally, we might be getting a brand new Saints Row game in 2020. Ladies and gentlemen, that is it for Nerfed in 60 Seconds, and that is it for this week's episode of the show. If you like what you saw and you want to see more content just like it, hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, and while you're at it, please share it with your friends. As always, my name is Brian Chappelle. You are you, and this has been the Nerf Report. Thanks for watching. Oi! Hello, Governor! It's I, Brian Chappelle, for the British Nerf Report. I hope you liked X019. And while you're at it, check out the rest of our content by hitting the like button, the subscribe. I can't do that anymore. That's the worst British accent I've ever heard of. Thanks for watching. Check out more of our content, please, and share it with your